Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Because now I know when something happens in our lives that is unexpected, you have to go into it in order to ever have any hope of coming through it. So when you go, guess what? When you come out the other side, you grow.
Brought out more in me than I thought that I didn't even know that I had.
That has given all of us a great hope for what we can do with our own messages, our abilities to deliver, but most importantly, to deliver it in an authentic and very, very intriguing way.
Have you ever been in something or felt something where the only way you felt you could deal with it was to leave, get away? I thought that was the meaning of control. It took me 4.5 years to stop looking around the room of my life, of my journey, of my purpose, digging in cushions for a remote that never existed. Looking, re-looking, going back and upgrading, bringing in and pulling out things that do not serve you must go. Those things out in this world that are designed to bring us down, to keep us down, put their foot on our neck and whisper to us that we're never good enough, they don't whisper. They yell at us from all directions, top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner, 365 days. When somebody asks you about yourself, don't you dare whisper. When they ask you to raise your hand, don't you dare half raise it. When they ask you something good about you, you scream it with all you have. Come on now, get up, get up. Tell me who you are. Show me who you are. Greatest truth of all, that not everyone has to remain lost.
way past time. I spell it out before you get it, baby. Show me your soul, and honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. But you walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. I know y'all are like, what in the world is he wearing? Two things you haven't seen. Well, one you have, but years ago. Season 1, 7 years ago, we crossed the 7-year mark last Tuesday. Been on the air 7 full years. Can I get an A? Well, wait, I'll start it off. Can I get an amen up in here? Absolutely right. And my favorite character from the Archies, good morning, beautiful people, was Jughead. And I found a Jughead hat. My husband hates it. He claims he doesn't, but he does. This morning when I said, look at my Jughead hat. It came yesterday. He goes, oh, that's interesting. That's like saying, is she pretty? Well, she's got a nice personality. We all know what you're really saying. So anyway, good morning. That's what I'm saying. Good morning and welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris. And I am so excited about today's guest. I'll give you one word: gifted. This girl is gifted. Wait till you meet KAITLYN MERRYMAN. She's a designer. Oh, well, don't let me get ahead of myself. I have one announcement and one only. If you are in the Chicagoland area or anywhere around it, come 31st of August, the 1st of September. Who did I just channel? Some country. Oh, my Lord. Okay, I'm changing that. If you're in Chicago, August 31st or September 1st, nothing against my country people, come on down to the Tinley Park Convention Center and join me and around 30 other speakers. I'm the master of ceremonies for the Road to Legacy Mindset Accelerator Business Summit. And it is at the Tinley Park Convention Center. Our keynote speaker for both days is the incredible Sanjeev Chopra. That's right, the brother of Deepak Chopra. And he is just the nicest guy. His topic of his keynote is the 2 most important days, because I always want to add a word or two to it. The 2 most important days. He borrowed that quote from Mark Twain. And do you know what those 2 days are? I'll tell you. The day that you're born and the day you find out why. Man, gotta love it. So if you're in the area, again, come on down and join us at the Tinley Park Convention Center, August 31st through September 1st. All right. So, KAITLYN. Excuse me. Let me hit my inhaler. Now, so she likes to be called Kate. K-A-I-T. Kate founded KAITLYN MERRYMAN Art in order to help fellow spiritual business owners, for instance, Reiki masters, astrologers, hypnotists, and she left her unfulfilling corporate design job and turned to astrology as a means of navigating her own career and life path. Now, over the years of studying astrology and human design and learning the complexities of her energetic strengths and weaknesses, she knew it was time to take the leap. Now, there's a lot more, but you guys know how I am. I'd rather KAITLYN tell you. So let's get her in here, okay? Let's see. Yeah, let's do it. Let's roll out the virtual red carpet today, shall we? Let's get on our virtual feet. Give a virtual standing ovation. It's painless, it's free, and we love it. Hit those hearts. Here she comes, KAITLYN and her band of merrymen. You know I had to say that, KAITLYN. Top of the morning to you, KAITLYN. Oh, Kate.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm going to call you Kate.
You're fine.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I love your space.
Thank you.
It's very artsy.
Thank you.
I love it. How you been?
I've been good.
Your hair looks awesome again. I love the color.
Thank you.
You're such
I
a
think it's the
cutie.
same blue. Yeah.
It is. It is, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. So, where are you hailing from? Where are you at today in the world?
Tampa, Florida.
Oh, how nice for you. All that sunshine and ocean and stuff. Are you a water girl?
I am. I love the water.
Do you? Did you grow up there or did you relocate?
I grew up in Tampa. I've been here my whole life.
Wow. Well, listen, here's what I like to do, especially with a girl like you. I'm going to dip out for a second, adjust my Jughead hat, and let you just create your own vibe with the folks. And then I'm going to pop in and we'll officially get started. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All you. Take it away, Kate.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is KAITLYN MERRYMAN, and I am a brand designer and illustrator. My mission, my main goal is to help women in the spiritual space navigate the complexities behind building a strategic brand that people will love. The spiritual space is definitely a difficult one to navigate on the internet and online. And I know a lot of spiritual practitioners struggle with building a strong identity, brand identity for themselves that sets them apart from other people. So yeah, that's what I do.
I think it's awesome. And how brilliant. What a great niche you have. I've never run into anybody, and I'm on the air 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year. So I interview a lot of people, and I've had a number of artists, graphic artists, designers, and whatnot, but not once have I ever run into someone who specializes in this genre that you do. I think it's absolutely wonderful. So let's find out. Let's talk about how you found your way to this niche. Well, most of us begin our journey inside of some type of organized religion. Was that the case for you? Did you grow up in a religious family?
My parents are pretty religious. I would say my dad's pretty religious, but they raised me to they didn't want to force anything on me. So I was very fortunate in that I had parents who wanted me to grow up to believe in whatever I chose to believe in. So I didn't really grow up like going to church or anything
Right.
like that.
But you had your own church within you, pretty much.
I
Well,
would say it took me a little bit to get there, but I've always been more spiritual, like naturally leaning that way. And
Yeah.
it wasn't really until my 20s until I started to really, really get into that.
Your
But
20s, like 10 minutes ago?
like 3 years ago, yeah.
You're so old. That's a
I
little
know.
late in life, isn't it, Kate?
Yeah, I
I'm just
know.
kidding. That's not on purpose, you guys, by the way. I ring it on purpose, with purpose, when there's some truth out there, because the bell and the truth, they both have a ring to them. Get it? Okay. Oh, before I get sued, welcome to the show, my sidekick. She's my Ed McMahon. That's a reference to a person from a show 100 years ago called The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, Kate. Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo, you guys. So, Kate, talk about, when did you start understanding this road, this realm, this place called spiritualism for you? What did it look like? What did it feel like? How did you start describing it to yourself when it began?
It's so interesting because it wasn't like most things, it wasn't really a linear path. It was definitely a lot of I did all of the things that we were supposed to do, you know, like you go to school, you go to college. I only have an associate's degree, but I did go to college. You're supposed to get a good job. I did all of those things, and I still found myself being really unhappy with where my life was. And so I kind of fell upon the spiritual stuff, and I started reading books and reading about it. And I kept meeting these really incredible people who were like, no, this is your path. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, this is your path. And so they would give me books and stuff. And at a certain point, I just started reading, and then it just kind of snowballed.
Yeah, that's what tends to happen. Yeah, you guys, my husband was right. I hate that Jughead hat. I had to get rid of it. I tried because I didn't want him to be right. He's always right, but he was right this time again. Ugh. So I'll donate that. So anyway, that wall behind us, those are crystals, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Did you? I'm assuming you created it.
Yeah, it was kind of a bit of a rush because when before we moved in, we didn't have a whole lot of time. I live in a shed. It's part of the many sacrifices I made to follow my dreams. I lost my apartment in the city and now I live in a shed. And we
A
didn't have
shed.
a yeah, this is a shed.
Hmm.
um in my aunt's yard.
Can't
But
we just call it a tiny house?
yeah, they call it the tiny house, but I kind of feel like shed suits it more. It does look kind of more like a tiny house, but we didn't have a whole lot of notice before we kind of had no choice but to come live here. But I wanted to paint some accent walls and paint all the walls white because my cousin used to live here. And so I wanted to paint and try to make it mine. And I didn't want the walls to just be plain, like the accent walls. And I saw a TikTok. I totally like, I'm not even going to take credit for this idea. I saw a TikTok of someone do it. And I said, that looks like something I can do really fast. That isn't going to take too much time before we move in.
I
So I
love it.
just taped off to make it look like crystals, painted the green, peeled the tape off.
I love it. I couldn't have done it. I'll tell you that. So kudos to you. So, what is your jam inside the world of spiritualism? I mean, and I don't mean that you practice it as far as you're a Reiki master or this and the other, but that lane, if you will. For me, for instance, I'll start. To give you an example, for me, I love the downloads. That's my divine gift. I get brief glimpses into the greatness of other people. It's my greatest divine gift. And so that's what I love in here the most. And it's what helps me to ease suffering in the world on a daily basis. What is that for you, KAITLYN?
I kind of dabble in all of it. I think right now, my favorite things that I try to use it with clients, if of course if they're open to it, obviously. But I really really like astrology and human design. I like the math side of it, the geometry side of it. I feel
Ew.
like it's been easy. I know I'm a big math person actually. It's funny because creatives usually are not, but
Right?
I love astrology. I love human design. I think I have had a really easy time understanding it. There's not many things in my life where I just kind of learned about something and I was like, this is the thing. Like, this makes sense to me. But human design and astrology and all of the self exploration systems that you can kind of learn, inform, and teach yourself about, those
Yeah.
are really like resonate heavily with me and they've been really helpful in my life, so I like to use them with my clients too.
Absolutely, because you're an authority. You're an authority. If you implement it, right. Now, help me out here, because just like you, most likely had no idea who Ed McMahon was. Talk about this human design piece. I'm not sure I understand what that is.
Human design. Okay, so human design is newer. So obviously we talk about astrology. Astrology's been around like what, billions of years? It's
Yes.
super old. But human design is newer. It came about in I think 1987, so the late 80s. So it's definitely newer in comparison to astrology and other things. And it's basically a big conglomeration of all of these ancient self-exploration techniques. So like think the Kabbalah, astrology, the chakra system, etc. So it uses all of these things and it creates something called a body graph. And it has all of your energy centers, and each energy center on the graph will represent something different. And you can either have defined energy centers or undefined energy centers. And your defined energy centers are places where energetically your cup is kind of almost always full, right? You can pull from that energy. So like of the 9 energy centers, there's like a center for emotions, there's a center for intuition, there's a root center that's like adrenaline and exercise. There's a
Mhm.
sacral center. There's your crown, your ajna. Like there's a whole bunch of these different centers that all represent different things and
Wait, did you
different.
say crown?
Yeah, there is a
As
crown.
in tiara?
Ah,
It's my universe. You're dream. Just say yes.
yes.
Okay, right. Keep going. Keep going. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So I gotta go here. I just find it so refreshing. Seriously, Kate, that I'm meeting more and more young people. I'm so envious. I oftentimes think to myself, wow, who could you I mean, I understand purpose and I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, but I'm like, wow, imagine if I had been able to embrace all of what I know now. It's that saying, if I only knew then what I know now, kind of thing, at such a young age. Let me ask you, what's it like when you go to, say, a party or a barbecue or something with your peers, and there are people there that you don't know? And then the conversations begin and you start talking about your spiritualism and whatnot. Are you finding that more and more of your peers are into it, are open to it, or do they look at you like, what the F? Or maybe a little of
uh,
both?
I honestly, I'm pretty much since the pandemic, I've not done much socializing in that way, but
Hmm.
and I don't really go out much at all. I'm definitely more of a homebody, but I will say it's definitely a combination of both. And I feel like I'm pretty good at getting a read on people. And I think that pretty much within 5 minutes of meeting them, I can tell if it's safe to talk about stuff like that with them or if they're going to be really,
I
mean
love the
about
way you
it.
put that. I love the way you put that. Safe. Right. Absolutely. What about your family? How do they feel about the work you do in the space within you do it within? How do they feel about that? Do they get it?
Oh, my family's very supportive.
Awesome.
I think they do. I think they do get it. I think they understand it. Yeah, I would say they
Awesome.
do.
So let's talk about your clients, your ideal clients. Now, we know that you work with specifically women that are that have businesses within the spiritual field. And so, how do they find you, and how do you find them? Is it like, do you wake up and there's like, an orb above your bed? And she's like, "Call me. I am the mystic. Call me." I'm kidding. How does this happen? And are there more of these businesses than we would know?
Yeah, yeah. There's a ton. There's a ton. And honestly, they find me. I utilize attraction marketing. I am very much under the belief that if people don't know you exist, how are they to support you, right? So
Duh.
I try my absolute hardest to put myself out there and put myself in situations like this. And I, for the most part, I feel like a vast majority of my clients have found me through either TikTok or Instagram. I try to post daily on there, especially if I'm not fully booked. Lately, these days, I've been fully booked, so I've been very busy, but I still try to post at least 4 or 5 times a week if I can
Mhm.
on TikTok and Instagram, videos, reels, because I feel like videos, it's a lot easier to connect with somebody and get to know them. And I feel like once you've made a connection with someone, it might take 6 months for them to build up the courage to finally reach out and say, I want to book a project with you.
Yeah,
But that's usually the way it goes. I utilize that attraction marketing. I'm trying to like make myself an authority in the space right now, and that's, I just started my business a year ago, so I'm still pretty new here. So
yeah.
I'm definitely trying to build that relationship with my ideal client through social media, even if they've never even spoken to me. I'm sure that there are hundreds of women out there who have seen me and follow me and are just waiting for the right moment for them and for their business. So,
Sure, sure. So let's talk about the process. Because when I do creative work, specifically, I have to do a couple tomorrow, commercials for clients or show openers for new shows on the network. And I'm really excited about the two that I have coming up to do in the next couple days. When you get inside and you're signed with the client and you're vibing and you get it, I know when I sit in this chair, I often refer to it when I'm creating something for other people. It is a two-way feed. It's a co-creation. And I feel like I'm in the Iron Man chair, where I'll start and things just happen. Things just, I don't believe in coincidence, but things happen. And sometimes you look like, even like when, say, something's going on with your software, or when how that is sometimes, and it's like, oh my God, right? And then it keeps you from moving past something. And then you don't think it's what you want at the beginning, but at the end, you see it was perfectly placed. Talk about how it happens when you get in the zone, creating something for your client. How does that make you feel, and what's it like for you in there?
Yeah, so the zone for me is a kind of like I zone out. It's almost like, I had a guest. I have my own podcast. I had a guest on my podcast who actually explained it in a way better than I ever could have. And she talked about, she's actually a painter. She's not a designer, so it's a little different. But she talked about being a channel and channeling in through her head from, source, God, whatever you believe in. And then through her hand, through the bristles of the brush, she was just channeling. And it kind of feels like that in a way for me. I know it's a little bit less fluid because it's on the computer and it's design work. It's not as fluid as traditional art, but I kind of felt similar to how she described it. I really resonated with that. And so I feel like that's how I feel when I'm actually creating. But the process of which I create for clients is very different from traditional art, from the perspective of it's very strategy based, because when you're a brand designer, the design is very objective. It's not subjective. There is an end goal with design. It's not like art where it doesn't, it's like it serves its purpose by existing. It's not necessarily the same thing, because when you work with clients as a brand designer, you want to get all of the information that you possibly can and make sure that you're acting from a place of strategy, because you want your clients, ideal clients, to be magnetized to their brand. So the process, it's not like I can just sit down and start creating and I have the first call with them and I say, oh, great, you're an astrologer. And then I sit down and I make a whole brand. Like, it's not really that simple. There's kind of a lengthy onboarding process. They have to get on a call with me. It's just a quick 30-minute call where they explain to me their goals and what they do through their business. And then we both kind of can collectively make a judgment from that point if we're a good fit to work with each other. Because at certain points, I think I am looking for certain people, and I would not want to take a client. Like, I would turn down a client if I didn't think that they were in the right point in their business to where that the investment of working with me would not yield a good return. So, for example, this would be like brand new business owners who don't really know or have a foundation in place. They just know that they need a design. That's not quite right for me. I usually work with business owners who are at least a little bit established or a little bit more established, even if they're a brand new business owner, as long as they have their foundation in place and they know exactly who they want to attract and the type of people that they want to help, then I can help them. That's
something right there. I'm sorry to butt in, but is that something that, when you started a year ago, did you think, because I find that I just assume people know that they are at that spot, and you'd be surprised how many don't. They pull the trigger on the business, but they don't know what you just described. What happens when that piece is missing? Is there a way that you can help them get closer, or do you send them away and say, when you find it, come back?
Yeah, so sometimes I have colleagues in the space who are, some of them are also designers, some of them are business coaches or business mentors, and often I will refer the client to them and I say, hey, this person can help you at the stage that you're at right now if you choose to do that. If not, you can do it yourself and you can always come back, once you have all of this information in place, but like, I need you to be sure. I don't want to sit down with someone and be like, well, I think my ideal client is probably from ages 18 to 85 and
that
women and men.
Thing.
Yeah, client avatar, exactly. Like, they have this broad, they don't really know who they're trying to attract. And not that I don't really believe that everyone needs to niche down super tightly. I kind of have, because I know what I like to do and I know who I like to work with, and it's honestly more for me than anyone else. But I just like to make sure that I am in a position where I know once I've sat down with someone for 30 minutes and I've asked them all these questions, I know for a fact that I'm going to be able to help them. And if they're not quite ready to invest, because you have to remember too, like brand design is an expensive, it's a luxury product, and it's a big investment for new business owners. So you have to remember, when a new business owner comes in and they don't have the brand foundation set up, they can't tell me who they want to attract. How am I supposed to design a brand to attract their ideal client if they don't even know who their ideal client is, or who their competitors are? Or so yeah, it's definitely, it's a long process. It starts out with the call, and then once we've both agreed that we're a good fit and that we think that that I think I can really help them out and I agree with them, and then we sign a contract and all of that, I will send them their onboarding packet, and they'll have to fill out this lengthy questionnaire asking about their design tastes, what they like, what they think their clients like, who their clients are, just super lengthy questionnaire. And then also I have them make a mood board with design styles that they like, because even though the end goal isn't to, it's really the end goal when I start designing to make something that my clients are going to like, not that my clients is going to like. Obviously, I would love for my client to love the designs I make, but at the end of the day, it's even more important that their clients love the designs I make. So
yes, and that is sometimes that's where I have to really bite down and be patient with some of my clients as far as the designing of their commercials or show openers, because they're always thinking about what they like and not the people they're serving, what they like. And it can get dicey in there. But let me ask you, Kate, is it possible? Do some people come with where they're too specific? I just want these colors. I wanted and are you able to like ease them into what you know is really what's going to work, or do you just let them just lay it down, no pushback, barrel ahead?
I would be a horrible designer if I did that without any pushback. It's my job to help them. So if they want, in the design industry, we call them pixel pushers. If they want somebody who's just going to do exactly what they want, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for a pixel pusher who is just going to make whatever they want. They don't want an
No matter what.
Exactly. Yeah. They don't want a creative. They don't want a designer who's going to help them and guide them to what we know as professionals is going to be the best outcome and yield the best results for them.
The politically correct term, of course, pixel pusher, but in the hood, I think we refer to them as brand whores. I'm just kidding. You know what I mean? Where they'll just sell anything, whether it's going to work for you or not. And so I think that's a great piece to make sure we get out there for people, to find someone who is going to push through with you to get you to that best place, so that you can actually serve in the manner in which your product or service deserves to be served. So let's head over and take a look. Maybe you can walk us through what we're looking at here. This is Kate's, of course, clearly her Instagram. So tell us about all of this.
Yeah, so those are just my highlights for my stories. The brand design highlight just has pretty much all of my brand design projects that I've posted on my stories. Hello is just, I think it's just a picture from a book that I that I really like, from a section that really resonated with me. There's this book written by Rebecca Campbell called Light is the New Black, that was actually the first book that I read when I quit my corporate job to take this path and start this journey, that really, really helped me out a lot, because I think everybody, when they make a really, really big move in their life, I think it can be a struggle at times to convince yourself that you've made the right call and trust yourself and trust your gut. And so a lot of the books that I read around that time really helped me. And so that is there. There's also some stuff from my podcast, some illustration work that I do because I also do illustration in addition to brand design.
Oh, do you? Like for books and things?
Anything, yeah,
Anything.
pretty much anything. I will do illustration projects for actually. I would love to get more brand clients, but most of my work is actually illustration because I'm a pretty strong, I would say pretty strong illustrator as well, which is not super, it's not uncommon in the brand design space, but most brand designers will not offer illustration. So I offer that as well.
I
But
love it. I love it. So, wow. And let's see, let's load some more. So, tell us about your, oh, this was, you told me that I love this. I was looking at it this morning on your page. This drink, this right that we're looking at right here. I think you said this was a passion project.
yeah, pretty much everything on my Instagram, with the exception, of course, if my client is having a launch. Obviously, that's like another benefit of working with me 100%. When my client launches their new brand, it's going to be all over my Instagram. But for the most part, my clients, obviously, I'm not going to post what I do for them until they're ready to launch it. So a lot of my Instagram is passion projects, which are for businesses that aren't even real. And it's just to kind of showcase the type of work that I could do, and to attract, my clients to me. And like, if they see, my passion project and they say, oh, I love that, that's the type of design work that I want for my brand, they'll know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, here's where I'm going to come to you. And I'm going to talk to you about it if you have a couple minutes after the show, is this piece, designer memes. That's a big piece for me as an influencer, a speaker, and those kinds of things, because that's where I get to share my Laurenisms, my quotes, and that sort of thing. Talk about the importance of memes. Sometimes I think the definition gets a little bit watered down, like coaches, trainers, memes, you know what I mean? Where people don't realize the power within the opportunity of a meme. Talk about that if you could, and who's the right fit for memes and who's missing the boat when it comes to this.
Yeah, so actually the memes, you'll notice if you scroll through my account, you'll see a few of those. There's another one there. I have a friend, her name is Carly. She's the owner of Synergy Creative Studios. You can see her logo is actually attached on there. I like to collaborate with other people in the space whenever I can. And I had this one day where I was making memes, and she called me on FaceTime, and I said, I'm making memes right now for Instagram because I had this download and I just needed to make this into a meme for my ideal clients, because it's a fun way to communicate in like a funny, lighthearted sort of energy what you need them to know before they can work with you, if you can communicate it in a meme. And we had such a fun time. We were on FaceTime and we were laughing. We were just having so much fun. And we said, we should do this every week. And we should just do a collaborative post on Instagram, because you can add people as a collaborator. And we should just post memes every week that communicate what we as designers want our future clients to know before they start working with us. And so we've just been doing it pretty much every week, every other weekend. It's like a fun way for us to wind down from having a busy week and just like focus on something that's like really fun and lighthearted and isn't too heavy. And it's also a post on Instagram for both of us, which is nice, because posting daily on social media when you're fully booked with clients is it can be challenging. So it's just been really, really fun and lighthearted, and it's a really good tool too. And I don't know, I can't speak for myself because I don't think I've gotten any new clients who've said, I found you through the memes, but Carly did. So Carly had a client come to her because we made a meme about Canva Pro, and somebody saying, it was like a meme saying, I've been using my Canva Pro logo for 5 years and I haven't invested in a brand identity yet. And someone came to her from that meme and was like, it made me realize I have been using my Canva logo for 5 years and I haven't invested yet. And I have the money now to do it. So I need to do it. And it's so funny how something so silly and lighthearted can actually be really effective in helping
to get people to think.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. Memes, say for instance, like an animated caricature, or not animated, but a caricature of a person. Is that something you do? Because that seems to be, the avatars on your phone have them, and we all love that person, that little cartoon guy or gal that looks like us. When you do memes, do you do things like that? Um,
Not really.
okay.
We find that it's more fun for us to take references from things that are already kind of a part of the pop culture. So we had a post that was all Barbie memes a couple weeks ago, and it was just all from the movie Barbie, because everybody's talking about that movie right now. And we were like,
Yes.
oh, let's be trendy and just post about the Barbie movie. And then at the end, we actually made, because for the promotion of the movie, they made uh all of those like images of different people, and it was like, this Barbie is, and then it would say something, and we made memes of like pictures of ourselves for the end of the memes, and mine said, this Barbie changes her hair color every 4 to 6 weeks, and it's just like something fun and
Right.
silly. So we usually will take something from pop culture, or we'll take something that's already well known, because I feel like those are what people really resonate with, because they'll remember that the actual original moment, and then they can tie it to the text that we've added to the memes, and they could say, oh, that makes sense, that's funny.
Right, I get it. So when people want to work with you, let's say I just want a series of memes. Can we work with you a la carte? Because I already have my brand and all of that, my brand Bible, everything's branded, but I need I need a facelift as far as something different, something new, something sexy, something sleek, something exciting, something that keeps my clients, my audience guessing. One of the things I find that a lot of brands can become is complacent. They can become predictable. Talk about how you help your clients stay on the cutting edge of what's going on in the world and what's attracting clients to people, to business.
So it's interesting, because I often, depending on the scope of the project, actually, like if someone reaches out to me and they have an idea, like what you said, like, I want you to do this, I know I already have a brand, I already have this, that, and the other.
Mhm.
For the most part, I will decline those, because I like to be I like cohesivity. That's a really big thing with brands. And so when you're kind of working, it's like too many cooks in the kitchen almost. When you're working with a team of designers is one thing, because those people have been collaborating, and like they already kind of know um, what kind of vibe that you're going for, and what your brand is. But once you start adding somebody else, and then you have them do something, you may not always get the best outcome. But depending on what the person's idea is, like I have taken on projects like that. But for like a general answer, no, I won't do that. And to answer your other question about helping my clients stay current, I would say I just kind of feel it out with my client and see what they need. Obviously, if they're working with me on a brand identity project, they kind of get to choose and kind of build their package. I have a bare minimum package that I offer that starts at $2,500, I believe, and that has just kind of the bare minimum of everything. But a lot of clients, they'll need packaging, like the bottles that you saw with the aliens on them, the
Mhm.
Alien Ale House bottles. Some of them will need packaging. Some of them will need social media templates, because their whole business is social media, and they don't have a physical product because they're, you know, an astrologer. Or maybe their physical product is they're an astrologer, and they need me to design a PDF for them to just, a template for them to just fill in with their client's birth chart and their information. Like, who knows? But different clients, they have different needs and different things. And when it comes to each of those individual things, I will, as part of my offboarding process, record a video of me going through everything and saying, this is exactly how you're going to use this. This is exactly how you're going to use this, because I want to set my clients up for success.
Right.
That's like the end goal for everything, is I want them um, to get a lot of value out of what I'm providing them. And so part of that comes with making sure that everything that I've made them, they know how to use it properly. I feel like a lot of brand designers out there currently make this big mistake of just assuming that their client knows how to use everything they're giving them, when that's not always the case.
Right.
If they knew how to do all of this stuff, they would do it themselves, right?
Hey,
So
there you go. There you
yeah.
go. So this perfect. That was perfect because it leads into where I wanted to go next anyway. So we have the package, we have the entire brand package complete.
Mhm.
And I know as a business owner, it's always like, and now it's like, okay, it's done. I'm going to be rich in 2 weeks. I'm going to have clients beating my door down. How does it work as far as strategically understanding when that brand is beginning to gain traction? I have to believe it's more than just the numbers you see on the screen as far as views or likes or shares. What is the real litmus test, Kate, to know when your new brand or your brand is working or not working even?
I actually do. I think looking towards the analytics is actually a really it's the most, honestly, the most straightforward way of knowing if something's working or not working, because if something's working, it might not be totally linear, but from month to month you should see some growth, right? If it's working, you should see some semblance of growth. What I find with a lot of my clients, and one of their biggest pain points is that, you know, they have started their brand, right? They made their own logo in Canva because that's what they could afford at the time. Now they're making money. They have money coming in. Their old clients are coming back. They're not attracting anyone new. They've hit a wall. They're not seeing growth. They're still making money, but they've kind of plateaued a little bit.
Yeah,
And they
they're
need
fishing from the same pond
Mhm.
and it's not being restocked.
Exactly. And
Mm,
so something that I aim to do to help them is to kind of cancel out that plateau and start climbing the ladder again and start seeing growth and start making more money. Because at the end of the day, it's a business, right? That's the
yeah.
goal of everybody involved is to make more money. So I definitely think that analytics are probably the most helpful tool to see, are you plateauing? Are you taking a dip? Or are you seeing growth from month to month? Obviously, you know, it's not that straightforward, like what you said, because sometimes we all have bad months. It's very common in the design industry. And it's funny for me, I've actually had the busiest 2 months of my entire business in June and July. And then into August, I'm super busy too. But most of my colleagues who are in the design space find that the summer is really slow for them, because at the end of the year, everybody wants to invest, right? Because they're like, oh, I haven't spent enough of money this year. I need to write off a big expense. And I've been
Yeah.
meaning to do this anyway. I'm going to invest in a brand identity. And then sometimes people wait to do it until the beginning of the year. And then the summer months, a lot of the times, they're not as busy. So you have to keep in mind too, especially if you've been in business for multiple years, you know, sometimes you'll have a couple bad months, like right in the middle of the year. You have to also like look at the patterns, right? Last year, you can't panic and say, oh, it's August, I haven't sold anything. Like my numbers are so bad for August. Am I plateauing? What do I need to do? Like, don't panic. Look at August last year. Was August a slow month for you last year? What about
Right.
the year before? So I think it's just important to look at the numbers, look at how much income you're making, look at who's buying from you. Are they all return customers? Are you seeing any new people come in? Just looking at the analytics, I think, will tell you pretty much everything that you need to know in terms of if you're on the right track with your brand or not, or if you need to invest
If you
in
need to.
someone like me to help you. Yeah.
There you go. Hey, so over the past year, I'm sure you've done a multitude of different projects. Share a little bit with us, if you could, on the one project since you started your business that you got the most gratification out of. That one that you step back and go, man, that was a good one right there.
Oh
Talk
my
about
gosh.
that one.
Yeah, so actually it wasn't actually a brand identity project, funnily enough. So um I actually was really struggling with my business when I first started. I think everybody does when they first start, right? Because you're still figuring it out.
You're figuring it out.
And so when I quit, I don't know why. I had it in my head when I quit my corporate job as a corporate graphic designer, thought immediate success, like my business is just gonna go viral or something's gonna happen and I'm gonna be
Bye.
supportive because
See you
I
when I see you. Right.
I knew in my heart this was what I was meant to do. So I thought it was just going to take off immediately. And I was really incredibly wrong. And I didn't have those foundational pieces in place. I didn't know who I wanted to work with. I was just kind of like, well, everybody needs graphic design because people do. It's important. And
Yeah.
so I was just thinking that it was just going to be an immediate success. I actually hired a business mentor who I wouldn't recommend. She wanted me to do everything that she was doing exactly how she was doing it. And none of that stuff worked for me. And I was really, really frustrated. And I wasn't really making any money at all in the very beginning. And so I had found this course and I will promote them all the time by the Brief Collective. They have something called the Design Biz Academy. And I had been following them for a year and I had so much regret because I invested in a different business mentor before I had found them for the same price who didn't help me. And then I had no money to invest in them. And
Right.
so I
Happens to a lot of us.
yeah. And so I sat down and I wrote in my journal and I have the date stamp. I wrote, I need money for this course. I wanted to manifest money for that course. 2 months later, they announced that they were going to be giving away a full ride scholarship to someone. And I applied for it and I won. And so I took their course from January through March. And if you are a brand designer, I would highly, especially if you're struggling with landing clients, I would highly, 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 highly recommend checking them out and following them, even if you don't have the money to invest in their course. Like at this moment, they have a lot of really helpful free information on their page too that I used up until I was able to take their courses. But after I finished the course, they reached out to me and they said, hey, we want to do because they had just and they recently just launched this line of merchandise where they were doing shirts and stuff. And my corporate background actually comes from shirt design, and I still love doing shirt design. I just don't really like doing shirt design on a corporate level.
Right.
And so they reached out to me and they said, hey, where we need to hire, like we want to hire our past students to make this line of merch. We want you to make a shirt inspired by your journey with us. But we want it to be in your style, and we're going to give you complete creative freedom, which is the absolute, in my opinion, the best thing you can say to me. I know some designers are like, I need a little bit of direction. Don't give me any direction. I will make the coolest thing ever if you just tell me that you're going to give me creative freedom. And I made just probably my favorite thing that I've ever made ever. It's this t-shirt and it has like a laptop on it and there's like a rocket ship coming out of it and there's like flames coming out of the laptop and it says design your universe on it. And then on the sleeve there's like a pencil and it looks so magical and it's just like so me. It's just the most me thing that they've ever let me create. And I'm so excited. It's not even released yet, but I'm so excited for it to be released.
And we're excited for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, they actually liked it so much they hired me to do 3 other design projects for them that I'm actually currently working on. But this is my favorite thing I've made all year, easily by far.
Isn't purpose a great thing?
Yes.
When everything happens within purpose, it's just magical. It truly is. So, KAITLYN, last question about the work, because I think this is important to get in for those folks that may be looking. What is an average delivery time from start to finish for a brand build out? Just average. I know all are different, but what's the average? 1 month, 3 months, 6 months? What are we looking at?
So for me personally, I have a 6 to 8 week turnaround from the start date. So if you get into contact with me now, the start date probably will be September because I am fully booked through August right now through the rest of the month. But from the start date, for me, it'll be a 6 to 8 week turnaround. I would say that's pretty in line with the average for any brand designer. So if you're looking at my stuff and it doesn't really resonate with you, but you find another brand designer, I would say that they're probably around the same turnaround. Some are a little bit longer, some are a little bit shorter. It kind of depends on how they book themselves. Personally, for me, I like to work with no more than 3 clients at a time. I feel like any more than that, I wouldn't be
You're
able to give them the attention they needed.
spreading
But
yourself thin.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
I get it.
I would say
Well,
that
on
that's
the
pretty similar.
screen, everyone, there are 2 roads. You saw a little bit of the Instagram work of Kate Merryman art, but head over. The link is inside of your comment section for easy access, and we're going to drop the other link in at the conclusion here in just a moment. But on the screen, you see it also at KAITLYNMerrymanArt.com. Head over and just take a look. And remember, get out of your own way. Give your business a shot in the arm, on and on and on. I just love you, Kate. I love your creativity, and it's just so unencumbered. That was the thing I loved about you from the very first moment. You're the real deal, and I've got something I want to talk to you about backstage that I'm going to give you a shot at, because I just want to see. I just want to see it, because I'm like, what's in that head of hers? Come on, give me some of that. Listen, final thoughts. One piece of advice for business owners, especially women inside the spiritual space, that you feel they might need to hear just to have a conversation with you, that something about their brand in that lane that they may not be aware of. What would that be?
I would say, if I had to give them one piece of advice, I would say that you are exactly where you need to be at this moment in time. And if you are feeling stressed about the idea of having to hire a brand designer, or if you're anxious and you're like, I don't know if it's the right time, you'll know when it's the right time.
You'll know.
I don't want anyone to, I'm not the type of person to sit there and try and, sell to you and be really, no, I want to help people. That's my goal. That's always been my goal with my business. I want to help you. If you are not feeling ready and we get on a call, I'm going to tell you, maybe like come back in a few months when you feel ready, because if you're anxious about it and you're like, oh, this is a big investment, I don't know, like, it's
going to affect, the entire process. Absolutely. I always tell people there's only 2 choices, 2 results of our choices, the 2 R's. You will either regret or rejoice. And I choose to rejoice.
Yeah.
All righty. Kate Merryman, thank you so very much for coming in today. Very enlightening. And thank all of you for coming in today and sharing this illuminated conversation. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. Now, listen, as always, get out today. Find your highest self. That's right. Find your highest self. Get out of the way and get on the way. Changing the world one story at a time. Hey, let's find some suffering and ease it today, shall we? I'll meet you tomorrow morning, God willing, right over there on the front porch. And together we'll create yet another illuminated conversation right here on Bathrobe Moments. And always, as in saying goodbye to you, I'm going to tell you what I mean. And I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. And I love, love, love you. And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks, Kate. Great job. Great job. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Shamelessly displaying my state of mind, but you